Good Woche, Rabbi Isai. Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Mordechai. So, I was waiting for this day for a long time. Like, when is it going to happen? So, I developed an eye infection. Viral, not viral. I don't know. I went on antibiotics. My father was a doctor. He gives me antibiotics. It was so short, blah, blah, blah. So, I can't wear my lenses. I don't have glasses. I can't see anybody. Hi. So if somebody comes in, let me know who it is or whatever. It's the daf. Somebody just recently asked me, I think it's a guy in Tannersville. They were asking questions. He says, are you always on? Like, I'm pretty much always in a good mood. I'm in a good mood right now. But it doesn't mean I want to be here right now. But it's the daf. We got to go weiter. Sometimes it's not that comfortable. You just keep on going, keep on plugging. Here's a video. It's not a nice one so much, but Pesach Pearl just met another Yossi Klein. He does look very much like Yossi Klein from one of the sides. Another hidden chosid learning with the rebelli. Here we go. As if he caught him doing something terrible. He like
chosid is allowed to learn.
Acquired it, so to speak.
That's Hashem.
Even though it's right now in video, it's Givaldic. Okay. I don't know if the guy's so happy about it, but we got to encourage them all. Who just walked in? I have no idea. Oh, Reb Heshi. I bumped into Heshi today. He was like 10 feet away from me and he's like, hey, who are you? I can't see. Now I see. Okay. No, my lenses are out. You see, I brought my contact lenses with me. But I'm driving, so stay off the that's why I put my contacts in. 1. Mazel Tov to Nathan Apple, West Hampstead, and Shira Axelrod on their marriage this week, shown here. Glenn Ackerman. Oh yeah, I gotta change it. Glenn Ackerman, Howard Appel, Chassan's father, and Mickey Aboff. We are all not rejoining the daf, as we're all learning with you for many years, and thank you for it. We also will tribally to get others to come back and join. They get a new ones to join. How about a Siyam in West Hampstead? Or if not, just a share. We have over 50 people learning with you already in West Hampstead. Happy anniversary. Glenn Ackerman, West Hampstead, New York, near the 5 towns. And I hope I can read today's. Oh, yeah, it's Givaldi. I'm just going to have to go a little closer. The Koilel is sponsored by Nanas from Lakewood, the Zechus, my mother-in-law, Shalema, Esther, Bas Baylor, Refuah, Shalema. Every day, she's making great progress. We walked today across the street. She walked up steps. It's very slow, but steady. Baruch Hashem. The Masechta, sponsored by Moshe Banda, to thank Hashem, that I'm able to thank Him for everything that I have. Paras HaChodesh, leading Nishma Zechrya ben Moshe. Paras HaChodesh, Bracha bli die in all my endeavors. Baruch Tzvi, Nissim, ben Shoshana, Leah. 3rd, Paras HaChodesh, Dr. Avrum Epstein, in memory of the 3rd years of his beloved Raiza Gitl Mazel. Paras HaChodesh, Mordechai ben Esther, for complete Refuah, Shalema b'Korov. Paras HaChodesh, leading Nishma Zechrya bas Yosef. Paras HaYom, Yerachmiel Seplowitz. In honor of Esty Seplowitz, on the occasion of her upcoming move to Florida. Thousands of people are learning Torah today. Let's do it again. Yerachmiel Seplowitz, in honor of Esty Seplowitz, on the occasion of her upcoming move to Florida. Thousands of people learning Torah today as a Zechus for your Mazel, Bracha of Atzloch in your new home. We're rooting for her. All right. Sometimes Mishana Mokai, Mishana Mazel. Yeah, there's a guy, I don't know if he likes when I say it, the guy now is Shir. He's used to give the Shir instead of me a lot before the new cycle. And he lived right next door to me. And his daughter has epilepsy. And he moved. The Rav told him to move. And since he moved, not one episode, the Leah Ayin Hara, and this is going on over 3 years. It's unbelievable. He doesn't like when we talk about it because of the Ayin Hara. Yuval Kavosh, Le'ilu Nishmas Yosef ben Rachamim, Rabbi Isai. Here we go. We have a very, what is that? Oh, that's my computer doing stuff. Okay. We have a simpler daf today. But before we do that, we have to go through the inyanim that we learned in Shas. So ha'imir al manas, ha'imir machshav, whether or not yes, but when a person makes a condition, he says, you are divorced on condition XYZ. Is divorce chal right now, and you just have to do XYZ, or it's not chal until you do XYZ? Ha'imir al manas, ha'imir machshav. Next, Gita v'yad ke'echad, that we said, if you remember, it's one of these catch-22s. How does she acquire the get if the get is in property that her husband has all the benefit from? So she gets the get, she gets divorced. In that moment that she's divorced, she owns the property fully. Because she owns the property fully, she acquires the get, and she acquires the get to acquire the property. It all happens together. How do we understand it? So Chaim Kamil, get used to it. Next, Kinyan Agav. If she has a property, or anybody has a property, and you put a piece of metaltal in the property, and you buy the property, so you're kind of everything in the property, including the movable objects, the metaltal. That's Kinyan Agav. Ef Shel Tzamtzim is a yahrzeit in Shas that you can't have something that happens simultaneously. It can't be that in the same millisecond two things happen. Ef Shel Tzamtzim. Lavud is the famous halacha that anything within 3 tefachim is considered, it's touching, it's next to, it's whatever, it's the same. It's good for a sukkah. In Hilchas Shabbos, this is the musig of akira and anacha. If you want to be, if a person is over on a yitzah for taking out a kli from one rishus to another rishus, you have to first do akira. You have to lift it up in one rishus, and then you have to put it down in the other rishus. So you pick it up, let's say in rishus hayachid in your house, and you bring it out into rishus ram, you put it down. It's anacha. We need those two things. What if a person throws a football from Rishus Hayachid, from Rishus Harabim, through the window of somebody's house in Rishus Hayachid, and it comes out on the other side of Rishus Harabim? Do you say Kluta Kamisha Hunucha, that when it passed through the Rishus Hayachid, yes, it was in flight, but do we say halachically it was grabbed and made a landing in the Rishus Hayachid for a millisecond in order for that person to be over on Hitzah? That's Kluta Kamisha Hunucha. You could pretend you're big Talmud Chacham, which you are, and you could run around. Hey, you know what Kluta Kamisha Hunucha dami? No, you don't know. Do the daf. Shemeres Yavam is a Yavama, is a person whose husband died and they didn't have children, and now she's waiting to see what that guy is going to do, her brother-in-law. Is her brother-in-law going to marry her, do Yibum, or he's going to perform Chalitza? But in the meantime, she's Shemeres Yavam. She's waiting. She's just waiting. Recha get, we're going to talk about it a little bit today, is when there's a get that smells like a get. It's not really a get. For instance, if a kohen writes a get for his wife, but he never delivered it to her, she cannot be married to him. Why? Because there's a get out there. There's something that smells like a get. Reach get. It's by kohanim, and we're going to see that it's a halacha by a kohen because they have more mitzvahs, they're more careful. It's not a real get. Never gave it to her, but it's reach get. Get mikushor is this device right here that we learned yesterday. We're going to start the shir talking about it. Basically, it's a get that's folded like a fan, and over here we have it's sewn together, and an aide writes his name over here. Then they write a little bit more over here, and the next aide signs his name by the green arrow. They write a little bit more over here, and then the next aide signs his name by the yellow arrow. They write a little bit more over here, etc., etc. You can have 7 folds, 7 folds. So that's a get makushur. It's tied down. It's sewn together. And the reason they did this is that the kohanim, when they give a get, they can no longer stay married to their wives. So in order to calm them down, if they're writing a get out of anger, this will take them a long time to sew it and find eidim and whatever. That's get makushur. Get a what? Why? Yeah, but the wife still has to get the divorce in order for her to get married. She can't be married to her husband. The Recha get only causes her not to be able to be married to her husband, but doesn't allow her to marry anybody she wants. She wants to marry any Yisrael. She needs a real get. Get kireach. Maybe we should turn this on. Get kireach is this exact get makusher that we're talking about over here, but it's missing one of the eidim over here. So let's say this one is a get kireach, because next to this green arrow, you don't have Adam. So it's bald. It's missing an aid. So if you deliver this get without the aid over here, even though you have all these Adam over here, it's possible. And if she gets married, her kids are mamzerim, and all the bad things happen to her. What could you do? Says the Mishnah, you could just use any person off the street, including a slave, including a relative. Kiva says no, only a relative. With that being said, now we can jump into our sugya. Says the Gemara on the bottom of Pei Aleph Amud Beis, that's 80 daf into Masechtas Gittin. We only have, I think, 9 days left, and therefore I'm asking the Olam, if you haven't, call up your friends. I'm telling you, all it takes is a short phone call, 2 minutes. Mizak is somebody in Torah and Nitzchias. Omer Rabbi Yochanan. Lo yuchshuru boy. Yeah, 2 lines from the bottom. Lo yuchshuru boy elo yidechot karev bavad. What we said that you could use a relative is only one of these many Adam signed on this fan. Aval trei loy. More than one relative is possible. Dilma, why? Asi likayume betrei kroivim v'chad kasher. One day, somebody's going to make an irur on the get. The husband's going to say, I never gave a get. The wife is going to bring this get to the bezdin, and they're going to look and they're going to say, okay, here. They're going to take 3. Now, we said a get makusher needs a minimum of 3 Adam. So they're going to take 3 witnesses, and 2 of them happen to be relatives, and one of them is not a relative. And they're going to say, oh, it's a great get. Look, here's Ruvain and Shimon who happen to be brothers, and here's another guy, and they're going to be Mekayim a get based on 2 relatives. And therefore, we don't want that. Omer Rabashi. You could also prove this from the Braisa, Daf Pei Beis Amud Aleph, the Komedalik V'toni Chad Chad Shmamino. If you look at the Braisa, it says, if he made 7 folds and there's 6 Adam, then it says, if you made 6 folds and 5 Adam, 5 folds and 4 Adam, it always goes down by 1 aid. Starts off 7, 6, 5, and then it's 6, 5, 4, 3. In other words, the Bryce is not saying that you could have 2 Adam in there. You could only fill out 1 bad aid, 1 karev, not more. Omar Abaya, Shma mino, hai karev, chosim, iboy, bein betchila, bein beemtza, bein basoiv. This karev, he could sign his name by the red arrow, the green arrow, the yellow arrow. It doesn't matter where he signs. We're not telling him where to sign. He can sign anywhere. He's a regular aid. Mimai, because the Bryce never said where he has to sign, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So this here, let's say you have 9 Adam. You could pick number 1, 5, and 9, let's say. You could pick any 3 out of these 9. They don't have to be 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6, or 7, 8, 9. They don't have to be a group. That you can pick any 3 you want. Because if you hold that you need that this should be in one group, if that's the case, if they have to be together, then I have a great trick. I can use more than 1 karev. How? If I dictate and I say halacha that the karev always has to sign his name in a specific location, let's say it has to be the first of the group, like in this chart over here. You guys see it? No, now you see it. Oh, so before you didn't see it? I was talking to myself. Okay. I was saying 1 to 3. So over here you have 9 Adam, 1 through 9. So if I say halacha that the 8 always has to be in the red place, in other words, the first of the 3, or the second of the 3, I did 1 case, okay, the easy one. So then you can use more than 1 karev. Why? Because no matter which 3 you take, only if the 3 always have to be in a group. So when you go to Bezdin and you're Mekayim the star, this get, you always have to take red, green, and yellow. Then you take red, green, and yellow. So you'll always take only 3 Eidim, but they have to be in the same group. So then I can use more than 1 karev. Because what's the whole concern? That you might use 2 relatives, but you could only use, the relative always has to sign in the same exact spot. So in this case, he's signing in spot number 1. 1, 4, and 7. That's the only place where a relative could sign. So anyway, I cut it. I'm always going to use 3, and I'm only going to have one karev there. From here, you see that you can just grab any edim you want. You can take 1, 5, and 8. And the concern is you might grab two relatives by mistake. You could have more than one karev. Says Gemara, he came to Rabbi Ami, Omar Le, Teva Hashlim Olav Evid Min Hashuk. Who says that you can use the Evid Min Hashuk? If you look in the Mishnah, it's Benanas. The second line in the Mishnah, Hakom Hashlim Olav the Benanas. In other words, Rabbi Ami holds like Benanas, not like Rabbi Kiva. That there was a get like this that was missing an 8 somewhere, and he looks around, there's no Eidim. So go grab a slave. I don't care who, just fill it out. That's Benanas, because Rabbi Kiva holds only a relative would be kosher, not a slave. Obviously, any person is kosher, but in terms of the psulim, only a karev, not a slave. Hadran Allah Chazorek, Hadran Allah Chazorek, Hadran Allah Chazorek. Says the Mishnah, a person who's divorcing his wife, Omar Lo. No sponsor. No. I'm going to go back to this. You have to remind me, if I don't go back or don't show it, just scream out something. One word is enough. So a person divorces his wife, and as he's giving her the get, the Shas Masira, says Rashi, he tells her, you're mutter to the whole world, right? That's what a get does. A get says, you're not married to me, you're mutter to everybody. Ela leploini. A very strange lashon. What it should say, really, chutz meploini. But the Gemara is going to say that the word Ela over here means exactly the same thing as chutz. You are permitted to anybody in the world besides Pliny. Now, the way I understand it, it makes a lot of sense to me. Let's say this husband is concerned that she had a relationship with somebody else. So he doesn't want to divorce her and now she's gonna go marry that guy? No way. So I'm gonna punish her. Say, I'm divorcing her. Besides that guy, oh, you say you have nothing to do with him? Great. Okay, so give out, so we're on the same page. Yosef. Does it work or not? Now, it reminds me of what's the big deal? So she can marry 8 billion people minus one person. So what happened? There was an Arab once knocked on his neighbor's door. Yiddish guy says, how come you guys are so wealthy? What's the shot? He says, no, it's very posh. We take metal and we turn it into gold. How do you do it? They take the metal, pour a little salt, and then cook it up with onions, and this and that. It turns into gold eventually. But there's one condition. One condition says you can't think about a pink elephant. So, fine, no problem. Comes back to him the next day, he says, those geshelten pink elephants. I'm trying to make my gold. I don't know. I never thought about an elephant b'chlal my entire life. Now all I do is think about elephants. So here also, same kind of musuk. It does ruin. You think one person, no. As soon as he says, besides that guy, that's it. He ruined it. Rebbe Lezer matter. Rebbe Lezer says this is a good get. You could divorce a woman and say, you're mutter, besides one person. It works. The Chacham and Ma'asrim, they say that's not a get. As we're going to see, you need krisos, you need to sever. You can't have any connection whatsoever. She has to be mutter to the entire world. So let's say he gave the get. And he said, he didn't know. He's on Mars. He said, besides that guy. And they told him, the Rabban said, what are you doing? That doesn't work. So he has a way out of it. He takes the get back. And he gives it to her again. Typically, you don't have to say anything. You just say, Raiza Gitl. Over here, he has to say specifically, you are mutter to the whole world because a minute ago he ruined it. He said it the wrong way. Now he has to retract and say, you're mutter to the whole world, including the guy I hate. But if he wrote inside the actual get, he wrote, you're also to Ruvain. You can't go ahead and erase it. Very, very simple sugya. What is this word Ella? So we already told you, and it's pretty obvious when you read it, that Ella means besides. But it could also mean maybe he made a condition. If you marry that person, you're mutter to the whole world. But if you go ahead and marry that person, then retroactively the get won't be chal. The get is only chal if you don't marry that person. Not a word of chutz, but a t'nai. And then the Gemara all the way at the end, it's mamish a simple sugya. We see that in another Mishnah, a completely different type of sugya surrounding, when it comes to tzaras in a house, the Mishnah uses the lashon Ella, and Ella means chutz. Okay, that's the whole thing here. Ibaylu. Hi Ella chutzu oy almanazu. What does the word Ella mean? Does it mean besides one person, or on condition you don't marry one person. It doesn't mean besides one person, and on that it makes a lot of sense that Rabbanan arguing Rabbi Eliezer. Why? He did not give a complete get. Let's see if we have it over here. Yeah, I mean the most famous, we use this pasuk many times in himself. Let's see again because of the sefer krisos. It has to be krisos. It has to sever the relationship. If there's anything holding on to the relationship, or that she's not mutter to the entire world, then it's not a get. But listen to this, Rabbi Yisrael. It's very interesting. It's the outcome is the same, but it's how you go about it. Ba'al manas, when a person makes a condition, you can't marry so and so. But right now, I divorced you, and you're mutter to the whole world. You're mutter to the whole world, even that person you're mutter to. If you marry that person, then it turns out that there's no condition. The condition wasn't met, and then the get won't be chal. But if you want to look at it, you can look at it a little differently. She's mutter to him. Just if she goes ahead and she marries him, then it's going to ruin everything. But at this moment, she's mutter. Or no, Lamaisa, she can't marry him. How do you look at it? It's just like a regular condition. Don't go here or jump over there. Maybe the word Ella means there's a condition going on here. And even if it's a condition, we have a machlokes. But if you use a very strong word, I'm divorcing you besides that guy, then even Rabbi Eliezer will agree that it's not a get, doshir lo beget, because he did not do a perfect krisos. He's Meshayir. She's not mutter to the whole world, minus one guy, and it's not a get. Omar Avinu Tashma. I'll prove it to you. Why? So a bais hamenuga means, we know a person has a tzaras, he has an affliction, it's white. The same thing applies to the house. If there's a house that has tzaras, so the whole procedure, the kohen checks it out, closes the house. Sometimes you have to knock down the whole house. Sometimes you remove a stone if it doesn't go away. Sometimes you have to knock down the whole house. Bais hamenuga. But look at the lashon. All homes become tamei when there's a nega. So Yoshi did a picture here. So if you look closely, I can't really see it, but you guys can see it. There's some like green, red stones over there. This is a Jewish home. So this is not such a Jewish home. And this nega doesn't apply to this house over here. Okay? Happens to be that in Sanhedrin, there's a shita that says in Sanhedrin that there's no such thing as bais hamenuga. Never happened. Never happened. So if it never happened, the Medrash says that why is there a concept of bais hamenuga? Because if there's a nega, you pull out the stone. You bought this home from a non-Jew, and they once hid treasures in the house, and this will allow you to find the treasure. So you see that there is so they say, according to that shita, means that there was never a concept where you had to knock down the entire house. Okay. Fine. Zog the Gemara. It's not the point of this whole sugya is just to see what the word Ella means. Does it mean it's a condition, or does it mean besides? It makes a lot of sense when we're reading it, right? We're here in America. Besides, it should make sense. All houses become tamei besides that of a guy. How could you put the word condition in here? All houses are tamei min goyim on condition that the guy what? It makes no sense. So that's exactly what the Gemara is saying. If the word Ella means besides, great. If it's a condition, on condition that the non-Jewish homes don't become tamei, then the Jewish homes do become tamei. But if they do become tamei, then the Jewish homes don't become tamei. Doesn't make any sense. But anyway, we know another halacha that non-Jewish homes don't become tamei. It says your achuzah, But the Before Shapasuk that a non-Jewish home doesn't have a tomb of tzaras of nega. El Shmamina, what do you see from here? The word chutz, chutzu. Elo means chutz. Shmamina, end of story. Says the Gemara Masisin Loiga Tana. Our Mishnah doesn't go like the Tana, because we just established that the word Elo means chutz. Besides that, he said in the get, he said, you are divorced besides Ruvain. You can't marry Ruvain. But there's another Tana, says the Gemara. The Sanya Amar Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda Lo Nechad Kulu Rabbi Lezer v'Chachamim Al Megash Zishtoi v'Amar Lo Hariat M'Teres L'Chol Adam Chutz Mitploini Sheino Al Minas. You see what's going on here? Hariat M'Teres L'Chol Adam Mitploini Sheino Megureshes Al Man Nechleku Sari Al Megarish Ishtoi v'Amar Lo Hariat M'Teres L'Chol Adam Al Minas Lo Tinasi L'Ploini. So over here they're using a lashon of Al Minas. The Machlokes is on a condition, not if he wrote in the get or said, sorry, not wrote, but said as he's giving her the get, you can marry anybody besides so and so. No, it's on condition that if you marry so and so, then it's not a get. Amud Beis. Rebbe says it's a good condition, and she marries anybody in the world besides Ruvain. The Chacham and Chacham say it's not a get. My time there, Rebbe. Why do they say it's a good get? Says the Gemara, no new chidushim here, no new svaras. Like we said before, just like a condition, a regular condition. What's the difference? He says, this is your get, on condition you do 10 jumping jacks. This is your get, on condition you don't marry Reuven. Halachically speaking, she could marry Reuven because she's divorced. Divorce means she can marry, but as soon as she marries him, I even saw Nida, and what about Znos? It doesn't make enough Gemino because he said don't marry. He didn't say, okay, fine. Rabbanon, Kotnai da Alma, Lishir lebeget. Says, oh, very good. You say do 10 jumping jacks, it's 10 jumping jacks. But over here, you touched upon the point of a get. A get means that the woman is mutter to every man in the world. And over here you said she's mutter to 8 billion people besides one guy. Then you ruined the get. You left something over in the get. Oh yeah, we do have a sponsor, thank you. Let's say the whole lashon here. Sponsored by MDY Tailing Group, where we daven for Refuah, Yeshua, Shidduchim, for Klal Yisrael, and our MDY family. Join us, dylan.8mindav.com. Yishkoyach. Put it over here. So remember for tomorrow. Okay. So the Gemara. Umas Nissim do Kimno B'chutz. My time in the Rebbe Lezer. Okay. But we established that he didn't make a condition. He said specifically when he gave her the get, which is very severe, I'm divorcing you on condition you don't marry Reuven. How could Rebbe Lezer say that it's a good get? Says Gemara, I'll tell you why he says it's a good get, because he has 2 psukim you can learn from. You're right, it doesn't make sense, but he has a pasuk. It says in singular, she leaves his house and she goes and she marries a single man. In other words, even if the get only allows her to marry one person, that's enough for a get. Doesn't mean to one man. It means she's mutter to every single man in the world. It says by Kohanim that they're not allowed to marry a divorcee. So this is slightly tricky, not a big deal. It says like this, that even if he only divorced her from no one, I'm divorcing you, I have nothing to do with you, you divorced from me, but you can't marry a single person in the world. What is that called? That's called Reach HaGet. It shouldn't work at all, because the get means she can marry anybody in the world, or at least some people in the world. Over here he said you can't marry anybody, but I'm divorcing you from me. You can't be with me, you can't be with the whole world. It shouldn't be a get at all, but in terms of Reach HaGet, it smells like a get. For a kohen, that's enough to pass from kuna. So the Gemara says, Alma Havigito. You see that it's considered a get when you leave over. What does it mean? So for this, let's jump into the Taisus. We have a little time today, Baruch Hashem. Taisus de Ramaskala Fidu Lenizgar Shalamisha Psula Kuna. Toimar, what's going on here? What are you proving? The fact that this woman is usher to her husband is not a right to anything, that this is a good get or not a good get. If she wasn't divorced, only from her own husband. This case, he only divorced from her husband, from him himself, but from nobody else is she mutter. Pshita, the filler of have a get klal balma. Obviously, this is a zero get. It's such a nothing that if somebody gave such a get to his wife, she would be mutter she would be chayiv in yibo. You don't even say give her chalitza, suffix, it's not even a suffix. It's a zero get. Nothing ever happened there. So then what's the raya? It might passel her to a kohen because you're a kohen, you know? No, mistake. Who? You're a kohen. Okay? Kohanim are very sensitive, so even if it's a fake get, so to speak, it's really a fake. He said, you're divorced from me and you're not mutter to marry anybody in the world. It's a zero get. But if you're kohen, you can't be married to her. But it doesn't mean that it's a get at all. So what's pshat in our sugi? This is what they're trying to prove here. Since you see by kohen, she becomes usher to her husband. So too, in our case, we said you're divorced and you can marry anybody in the world besides one man. Haviget gamur, dim loy haviget. Svaro, the beloin is garsha elamisha, filurecha get lehavi. The svara would be that in the other case of the kohen, it wouldn't even have a smell of a get. So we must say that when you say that this is a good get, and you're also only to one man, that it's a great get. Because otherwise, it wouldn't be considered reach get in the other case of a kohen. Fine. No, that's it. She can't be married to her husband. How can she eat truma? Yibum, not from a kohen. Not in the kohen case. In the kohen case, she's divorced. In the Yisrael case, there's two different stories here. By the kohen, her husband has to get rid of her. And if he gets rid of her, there's no truma, nothing. In the Yisrael case, the same exact thing in the Yisrael case, it's not even a rare, it's nothing, it's garnished. Fine. By Rabbi Abba. Let's remember the name Rabbi Abba for now. Rabbi asks the question. The same exact case that we said in a get, what about in Kiddushin? A guy goes to his kala, his future kala, and says, you're also to the whole world, because that's what Kiddushin does. It makes you also to the whole world, besides one man. That man you're not also to. Is it a good Kiddushin or not a good Kiddushin? Says Gemara, Tibayler, Rebelezer, Tibayler, Rabbanan. Again, Rebelezer holds by Gerushin. If you say this is your get besides one man in the world, you cannot marry that one man, it's a good get. Chacham say it's not a good get. So now, the same question applies to Kiddushin. We just brought two psukim that help him out. We said, Ish, you can only mutter to one, as long as you mutter to one man, it's a good divorce. Visha Grushumi Isha, a whole pshat, the rechaget, not rechaget. But he has psukim. But that's only by Gittin. By Kiddushin, it doesn't work. But by Kiddushin, you have to do a real kinyan. And by you saying that you're also to the whole world, but you're mutter to XYZ, that's not a good kinyan. When you're Mekadosh a woman, it means she's also to everybody. So the famous, I don't know where I put it. But we have it on this daf. It says mamish v'yotzim mebeisai, 7 lines down. V'yotzim mebeisai v'holcha v'hoisa l'shacher. So you have yitzia and v'hoisa havaya. This is the famous hekesh v'yotzim v'hoisa that any halacha you have by get, you have by kiddushin. Any halacha you have by kiddushin, you have by get. So we just established that according to Rabbi Eliezer, the get is a good get, even if you exclude one person in the world. So the Kiddushin is a good Kiddushin, even if you exclude one person in the world. Maybe. So they asked the question, but they immediately came up with the solution. Yes, there is a hekesh between Kiddushin and Gerushin. Therefore, according to Rebbe Eliezer, that says that if I give a get on condition that you don't marry Ruvain, it's a good get. So if I give Kiddushin on condition that you're not also to Ruvain, it's a good Kiddushin. And according to Rabbanan, if I say that if I give you a get on condition you don't marry Ruvain, it's not a good get. So if I give Kiddushin on condition that Ruvain is not also to you, then it's not a good Kiddushin. Fine. That's that. Now, says Abaya, if that's true, this is what we just said, right? Because Rabbi Abba asked this question. And we're going to say that according to Rabbi Abba, in Rabbi Eliezer, again, a person says, you're also to the whole world, but you're allowed to marry Ruvain. I want to marry you, but you're allowed to marry Ruvain. Says Abaya, but Ruvain, so check this out. For this, we need a little bit of a chart. We don't need, but it will make it very geschmack. You did a phenomenal job. There's a concept called the wife of two dead people. How could one woman be married to two people? How's it possible? So, very good. In the Shemeres Yavam. And what happened? How she engaged?
Her brother died. It was her husband.
Yeah.
The second one, when she has Zika, he died again. The second one died.
Yeah, but Zika doesn't do anything. So it's a little bit more than what you're saying.
He gave her Kiddushin while.
He gave her Kiddushin. And what is that called?
Mine.
Very good. That's the case. You hear what he's saying? So here's the case. Let's see it inside. You have three brothers, Reuven, Shimon, Levi. Are you seeing it also?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Reuven, Shimon, Levi. Reuven goes ahead and marries the five-towner. Reuven goes bye-bye. So now you have a Zika to two brothers. Either one of them can marry her. So Shimon goes along and he does something called Maimer. Maimer means he gives her Kiddushin. Now, Midar Raisa, the way to be Kaina Yevama is through Bia. Rabbanan said that if he gives her a ring, like a regular person, she becomes Mukudeshes to him, to exclude Levi. Levi can't do anything now. Now, they later on said, this is how you have to do it. Okay, it's better to do it like that. And then Shimon goes bye-bye. So look what happens. Now she's, so to speak, connected to two men. Because Shimon never married her. Shimon only gave her a ring. Her original husband died, and so she still had shaykhs to him. She's coming off of two husbands, basically. That's what's going on here. So what does Levi do? Levi has to give her chalitza. He cannot be miyaber. Why? Because this is Esha Shnei Mesim. And the pasuk says, Umeisa Chad Mem. See, because it's Shabbos, it's in the wrong order, and I don't want to mess up the order now. Okay. So that's case number one. Abaye says, but I have a case. What about this case? This case doesn't work. I'll show you a case that doesn't work. Three brothers. One of them marries this woman on condition that the whole world is asur. You see? All asur. There's a globe with a line through it. The whole world is asur, besides one person. My own brother. You're mutter to marry my own brother. Comes the brother. I'm mutter to marry you. Great. So I'm marrying you. You're also to the whole world. And you're mutter to my brother Reuven. You hear this? Is she married to two men? The answer is no. Why? Because she's married exclusively to Reuven. He left over a little bit. But Reuven, Shimon, when he married her, he didn't do anything. He didn't add anything. She was always also to the world. And she's basically Mukudesh to Reuven. So what did Shimon do? Asked her to the world. Okay, she's already also to the world. And Yemuta to Reuven. Shalom Aleichem. She's already married to Reuven. So Shimon did zero. He didn't add anything. If he adds something and he says, you're usher to Ruvain, now she'd be married to two men. Yichap? Very simple. So in this case, if they both go bye-bye, I don't know what it says there, Yibum. You do Yibum. Why? Because she was only married to Reuven, nothing to do with Shimon. But in the same case, almost the same case, Reuven marries the five-towner on condition that she could still marry his brother Shimon. Then comes Shimon and marries her on condition she cannot marry Reuven. So now he added something. He added an Issa to Reuven. So now you could say that she's Esher Shnei Mesa. Okay? It says Yibum here, it's a mistake. It should probably say Chalitza. Okay? Zog the Gemara. Let's see it inside. Very poshut, yeah? According to Rabbi Abba, it says that a person could say, I'm a Kaddish you, but you're still mutter to marry my brother, you're still married to marry somebody else. So then afterwards, he was Mekadosh her besides Shimon his brother. And then so Shimon brother, oh, I can marry her, great. And he's Mekadosh her besides his brother Reuven. They both died. It's a perfect Yibum. Why? Let me just see if I have the pasuk here. Not here. This is what I was looking for before. This is the hekesh of Havaya Litzia. And here's the pasuk Yeshua Achim Yaakov Umeis Achad Mehem. It's only when Yibum only applies when one husband dies, not two husbands. How do you have two husbands? In a case of Maimer, and Abai says, well, wait a minute, I have another case over here. Now, it's very interesting when we learned it over there in Yavamas, I said this Maram Shik, so I'll say it again. The Maram Shik says a very interesting thing. What's just in a Hasidic way to understand a little bit on a deeper level what's going on here. So he says, and this gives us a little bit of an explanation of what Yibum is all about. You call the kid on the father's name, you should marry, all of a sudden there's a heter to marry your sister-in-law so that he has a descendant, so to speak. So the Maram Shik says that if this couple, after Yibum, has a child, then the neshama of the father that died goes into this child. And Memela, that only works when there's one father. But if there's two husbands, so to speak, then two neshamas go in, almost like there's a problem of split personality or something, like something like that. Okay. My timer, Kiddush the Reuven, so the Gemara explains. In the first case, Kiddush Reuven Ahanu was great. She's also the whole world. Kiddush the Shimon Ahanu, and Shimon did 0. How do I find the case of two Mason, of two husbands? Reuven, the brother, was Mekadesher to the whole world besides Shimon. And over here, Shimon added something because now she became also to Reuven. The Kedusha Reuven Ahana the Mason Alma. Reuven's Kedusha helped that she's also to the entire world. The Kedusha the Shimon Ahana the Mason Reuven. And all Shimon accomplished was that he made her also on Reuven. So then his Kedushin is chal a little bit, so to speak. And therefore, when they both die, it's as if she's married to two men. Bye. Omar Leah, Hariad Muteres l'Cholodom, Chutz Meruven v'Shimon. The voice I have here, I did this on Matzah Shabbos, very proud of myself. And I go to my niece and ask her if she has some construction paper. Baruch Hashem. Okay, here we go. We have a Reuven and Shimon, and here's the world. So, your mutter, what is it? Hareyat muteres l'chol adam. You are mutter to the entire world. Does it get? You're mutter to the whole world. Also to these two people. And then he repeats and he says, L'Ruvain v'Shimon. Afterwards he says, your mutter. What? Screen. Okay. You can just say it. Okay. Yeah. Oh, here. Mutter. Oh. Do we say that you see these two guys? Maybe what he wanted to do is to say he retracted and said instead of them being red, they are green. Maybe this, the world, became red. So these guys went from red to green, and this guy went from green to red. Imdin Soloimar, top of Daf Hegimel, Maidas Ashara, Leruve Mao. What if? Okay, so going back, the world is multitude. Reuven and Shimon are also to you. And then he says, Leruven. Reuven is mutter. Now, you have green, red, green. Leruven, Vuadin, Shimon. Did he mean Shimon is also green? Or maybe he just mentioned this guy, but he meant both because that's how he started. Or maybe he meant Reuven and not Shimon. And if you mean like this, that Reuven is green, Shimon is red, Lishimim out. What if they're both red? And he says Shimon is mutter. L'Shimon Vuadin l'Reuven. Did he mean both are green? Because that's the last one he said. But he meant both. Or maybe no. He meant Shimon is green, Reuven is red. What if he says the Lashon af? Okay? Even Shimon. Af Reuven koi? Did he mean both of these guys are good? Or what he meant is the world is green. I'm saying Shimon is also. Even Shimon is green. But Reuven remains red. Teiku. We have to wait for Mashiach for this kasha. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. Shkayach for coming. Beis Hashem tomorrow evening at 7:30 right here.